5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Fear.
The snow was already thick when the five friends reached the old, rented cabin buried deep in the woods. The perfect, isolated spot to welcome the new year. Far from the world, Sarah, the loudest of them all and never seen without her camera, was filming everything. Her lens captured Jay tossing snowballs at Mark and Alicia, who were busy dragging luggage through the knee-deep drifts. Lex, quiet as always, simply trudged behind them with vacant eyes, a cigarette burning low between his lips. They burst through the cabin doors with the energy of drunk teenagers in horror movies, pouring drinks, tossing jackets to the floor. "This place is straight out of The Shining," Jay joked, raising a bottle of champagne in a mock salute to the dusty, creaking beams overhead. It was Sarah who found it first. A strange clock. While exploring the attic with her flashlight and camera, she spotted the thing lurking beneath a tarp. A tall, ancient grandfather clock covered in dust. Its carvings worn, but unmistakably sinister. Dragging it down into the living room, Sarah wiped the grime from its glass face. "Let's use this for our New Year's countdown," she laughed. Jay agreed instantly. Of course. Alicia, the sensible one, hesitated. The base of the clock had Latin words etched in spirals: tempus deborat, unus superedit. Time devours, only one shall remain. At exactly 11 p.m., the clock let out its first deep, haunting chime. No one had touched it, had simply begun to tick again on its own. The room fell silent, and then Lex dropped to the ground. At first they thought he was joking, but his body began seizing violently, blood spilling from his mouth, eyes rolling back into his head. By the time Mark turned him over, Lex was dead eyes wide open, his face locked in a twisted grimace of terror. Panic exploded. Alicia tried calling for help, but the phones were dead. No signal, no Wi-Fi, nothing but the slow ticking of the clock, which now displayed glowing red letters just beneath the hands. With each chime, a soul is claimed. Only one may welcome the new year alive. Jay screamed at Sarah to stop filming. She already had the camera down, too shaken to think Clearlaboot couldn't pull her eyes from the clock. Mark tried unplugging it. There was no cord. He tried pushing it over. It wouldn't move. It was rooted into the floor, as if the wood itself had grown around it. At 11:05 p.m., the clock chimed again. Jay screamed in frustration and hurled a fireplace poker at the glass. Midora twisted violently and flew back toward him, impaling him through the chest with a sickening crunch. Blood fountained as he collapsed, twitching onto the floor. 2 down, 3 left. Total. Chaos. Alicia shouted that it was some kind of ritual. Sarah remembered the Latin. Mark was pacing the room like a caged animal, staring at both women as though trying to figure out who was next. "It wants blood," Alicia whispered. "We just have to survive until midnight. Just 25 more minutes." But 25 minutes now felt like a lifetime. 11:15. Chime 3. The lights flickered. The walls creaked and pulsed, as if the cabin itself were breathing. The fire in the hearth went black. A low whisper filled the room, not in their ears, but in their heads. It was saying their names. Mark snapped. He accused Sarah of bringing this upon them, that she knew what this was. She screamed back that he was losing his mind. Alicia tried to intervene, but Mark lunged. "Knife a none." Sarah scrambled backward, caught a bottle, and smashed it into his throat. Glass and blood sprayed the room. Mark staggered, made a gurgling sound, and fell dead. The chime rang again. 11:20. The fire reignited on its own, roaring now in a sickly green hue, and Mark's body erupted in flames. Alicia yanked Sarah back. "Only us now," she whispered. "We can survive this. We just stay alive." The clock was louder now. Every tick felt like a heartbeat. Time froze. Minutes stretched into eternities. Shadows flickered unnaturally. Doors no longer led outside, but opened back into the same room. The windows showed not the woods, but endless mirrors, each reflecting a slightly wrong version of reality versions, where Jay was still alive, or where Lex stared at the camera with a wide, bleeding grin. Sarah was trembling. It's never going to let us leave. Las 11:30, las 11:35, las 11:40. With each time, the room changed. Paint peeled from the walls, replaced with etched carvings of screaming faces. Blood began to run from the ceiling beams. In a hidden drawer, Alicia found old journals records of other groups, other parties, different years. Always 5, always one survivor. By 11:55 p.m., it was only silence. The two women stood on opposite sides of the room, their eyes locked. Alicia's hand slid behind her back, gripping a sharp, broken shard of mirror. Sarah lowered her camera slowly. "Only one," Alicia said. "I know," Sarah replied, "but I found the full translation." Alicia blinked, confused. Sarah raised a gun, pulled the trigger. Alicia dropped to the floor in stunned silence, blood soaking the ancient rug. The clock gave one final, deep chime. Midnight. Silence fell. The walls returned to normal. The fire dimmed. Snow began to fall gently outside the now normal windows. The spell was broken. Or so she thought. Sarah sat alone, drenched in blood, the ancient clock still ticking in the background. Her camera, still recording from the corner of the room, blinked red, catching it all. Then the clock's hands began to move backward, time reversing. The snow outside froze the shadows returned, no longer silent, and from the cracked face of the clock, a whisper escaped. The new year begins. But the chapter never ends. The last thing the camera saw was Sarah's face, eyes wide with horror as the clock pulsed with light. And then, static. A voice not hers whispered coldly. Like. Subscribe. And remember, your chapter may begin at midnight. Only on Bloody. Chapter